Welcome back to learning to program in Godot using Adventure World. Alright, so I know it's been a really long time since my last video, and we left off here with this mini-boss, the Bat mini-boss. So I was trying to think of what the next steps were, and we're going to put a jetpack right here. So we're going to make a series on the jetpack, but I'm going to try and break it down into shorter videos. But in the meantime, we need a gate here, because right now the player could just bypass the the bat boss and just run and grab the jetpack. So let's go ahead and get started on that. We're going to need a few things, and most of this is repeats of things that we've already seen. But you know, I wanted to put all of it on screen, so let's go ahead and do that. First thing I want to do is close this in a little bit. Let's see, foreground map, get our brick tile, and we'll just close off a little section there. And this will be where our doorway is. Alright, so that is that. Then we're going to need a few new scenes. We're going to need a key and a gate. And then we're going to have to add that key as a pickup that the player can pick up. So let's go ahead and make the gate. I think that'll be a nice start. So we're going to make a new scene, and here's our origin. We're going to make that of type static body, because it's going to be a wall that we can bump into, and it shouldn't need to move. Then we're going to add a child node of a collision shape. Right, so that's its static body, and then a sprite. And the sprite is going to be, I think I had in here, yeah, here we go. Let's go with the blue one for now. So we'll use this one, drag it over onto the texture. There's our texture. Now this one, since these, let's go ahead and rename this to wall, or gate blue, and we'll save that, and we'll save that under objects. There we go. Now that one is a tile, and it's going to be exactly one tile size large. So I could solve this by just putting two of them, but I kind of want to blow it up so it's very obvious. And so instead of redoing my sprite, instead I'm just going to scale it. So I'm going to go to the transform, the scale, and I'm going to double the size by changing these to 2. So that doubled the size of my gate. And then I need to go to my collision shape, and I've got the little indicator there, warning indicator, telling me I don't have a shape selected. So let me grab a rectangle shape, and grabbing those inside handles, I'm going to drag this out. And we can even drag this below the sprite so that we can see it better. I'm going to use these handles and go to the edges here. Ta-da! There we go. Now we need one more thing. This will make a wall that I can bump into, but I want to be able to unlock this wall by walking up to it when I have the key. So I'm going to create another object here, or another node, and I'm going to do an area 2D. That's going to warn me that it needs a collision shape, so I'm going to add another collision shape, and that's going to warn me it needs a shape, so I'm going to pick a rectangle, and this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger than the previous one. Alright, so the idea is if the player comes up, he'll hit this one first, but since it's just an area 2D, he'll actually move right through it and hit this collision shape. So this one we're going to call our unlock, and then we'll leave the area 2D there. And then I need to attach an event to this. So I go down to node, or a signal I should say. I'm going to say body entered, but I don't have a script, so let's go ahead and add a script up here. And this one I'm just going to make a built-in script. It's going to be so simple, I don't want to clutter my code with stuff, but feel free to make it. The biggest downside to that is I don't get it named here, so it's kind of confusing to look. This gets better in newer versions of Godot. I noticed that they make it script has the same name as your scene here, which is kind of helpful. Anyways, yeah, so this is just a built-in script. This will be embedded inside of this object when we save it. And so I need to add this signal here. So I'm going to do body entered, and I'm going to put it on that script. Its name is fine. Connect. Alright, so this event will happen when the player, or when any object comes up to this gate. So we're going to check for it if it's the player. So if body dot is in group player. Remember a while back we added that group to the player, so that's what it's going to look for. Then we'll print. For now, we're just going to print a message. Print check for key. All right. Sorry. So we'll come back to this and fill this out with the unlock logic when we get the key done. So let's go ahead and add this in. I need to save this. I already did. Excellent. So if I come over here, I'm starting to get a lot of content over here in my file browser. So we go to objects, and then down here we should have gate blue, so I can just drag that right in. Now it's going to add it wherever I'm currently selected here, so I probably should do this in the proper place. Background static objects, foreground static. Yeah, so it needs to be a background static object, and we'll put it in the cave. So I've got that selected. I'm going to grab that scene wherever it went and drop it right in. Now the nice thing is because this is an object, I can drag it around wherever I want. It doesn't necessarily have to be specifically in a tile space. You could if you want that your game to kind of look consistent, make it look like it fills in, but I kind of want to put it right here in the middle, give it a little bit more of a dynamic feel. So let's go ahead and try this, make sure it blocks our player. So I'm going to jump right on past this bat, use him as a springboard to get up here, and sure enough, there I'm hitting the wall, but you see down here in my output, I'm getting a message, check for key. So it is running my area code, but my collision shape is preventing my character from moving through. So that's fantastic. That's exactly what we want. Now we need the bat to drop a key when we defeat him. So we're going to make another object, and in this one, we're going to jump to that the origin right here. So in this one, we want to, let's see, we're going to make this one an area 2D, because we don't want the key to really interact with the world. Now we could make this a rigid body that falls out and kind of flops on the floor. Actually, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Yeah, let's go with that. So we're going to change it up. Why not? Alright, so we're going to go with a rigid body 2D. I think this is the first one we've done in this series. And this one's going to be called the key blue. Sorry. Let's see. This is of course going to need a collision shape and also a graphic, so we're going to go with a sprite. Then let's go down here to, well, I'm sorry, up here to my art, and I think this is under the user interface. No, the HUD. Yeah, here's a key. So this is the key we're going to use. So I'm going to go to my inspector so I can see my texture, drag it on there. There's my key. Now it's a little bit of a weird angle. I think this will be great when it's up in our HUD for once we've collected it, but for here it's a little weird. So what we're going to do is rotate the sprite. So I'm going to pick the rotate, and I'm just going to pull it around like that. Yeah, that looks good. So now, yep, and I'm going to save this, go ahead and save this. I hit Control S. I'm going to save this under Objects. So now I'm going to select my key shape here, and if we went with a circle, the thing would roll around. If we go with a box, it'll pretty much flop on the ground. So we may try a capsule. And this is a little hard to see because it's kind of the same color as my so this doesn't like us to go this way. So what we could do is rotate this by 90 degrees. Wow, it's pretty much, and the reason I did that is so that we could control it this way better. That's pretty spot on. We could shrink it down a little bit maybe. I don't know, I like that pretty good. Let's see how this works. So we're going to save that. So this is now our key, but we need to be able to pick this key up. So to do that, we're going to do the same kind of idea of what we did here with the gate. We're going to have an area that expands beyond the rigid body. So I need a area 2D, and then it needs a collision shape. We're going to rename this one to pickup area 2D. And this one we can go with a box. Rectangles are very efficient, and so we want this to be as efficient as possible. And we don't really care if they, maybe come in here and grab it. Alright, so what we're missing is the code here. So let's go ahead and add this. We need a script up here. Again, I'm going to go with built-in. That's fine. I'm going to delete all this. And then I want to attach that event here, or signal. So we're going to go to there. We're going to go to body entered. Right, name's fine. The reason I check the name is because if you forget to rename this node, this just shows up as area 2D body entered, and it's kind of confusing of what this function is for, especially if you got multiple in here from different events or different signals going on. And so yeah, always try and name that first, and then check this when you're creating that signal to make sure that function is recognizable. Alright, so we're going to pick up, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to check to make sure it's the player, because we don't want, say a monster coming along and picking up the key. So we're going to say if body is in group player. Alright, so we know it's the player that's hitting it. Then we're going to go ahead and pick this up. So to do that, we're going to add this item to the player's inventory. So I couldn't remember how to do this, what I'd done before, I should say, and how I would implemented the inventory. So what I did is I came over here and I looked for an object that I knew we had done before. So we have the pickaxe pickup. Let's check that one out. Yeah, so right here, here's the script for it. And we did exactly the same thing. We had the body entered, and then is in group, and then we did this. This is what actually adds it to our inventory. And then we queue freed. We're going to need that too, so let's go ahead and grab it. Alright, so I'm back here on my key pickup. I'm paste that in. Now I don't want to add a pickaxe, I want to add a key blue. Alright, so this pickup should now work, but what we're missing is we need the player to show it in his HUD. So let's go ahead and go do that. I will admit that I believe that the inventory system is probably one of the weakest points of this game, and if I was trying to optimize, that's probably where I would start, because I'm not super tickled with how the inventory system works in here. So the way we did it is, if you come down here in the player, let's see, where is it? This HUD canvas layer. Go into that scene. Here's our inventory items right there in the top corner of our screen. I did like this. This could be dynamic, right? So I shouldn't have to describe a picture for every object, or I shouldn't have to put it in here like this. It would be really neat if our inventory system could somehow connect, like an item could itself have defined which image it should show, and then when I add it, it just pops up in here. So this is kind of a good structure, but maybe not a great implementation, because I have to do a lot of manual work to get this to work. So I'm just complaining, pointing out ideas for you to improve on this if you'd like. So I'm going to duplicate this, Control D to duplicate. Gives me a second pickaxe, which, because I'm in this vertical container here, it go ahead and stacks it, which is awesome. And I'm going to rename this to Key Blue. Name doesn't matter too much. And I need to change my texture, so I'm going to go to Art, and it was under HUD, Key Blue, drag that in. Perfect. I might scale that up a little bit. It's kind of small there. Let's go to Rectangle. And it's not under Transform because Transform is for our 2D objects that inherit from node, which are those blue nodes. So if I come over here, see these are blue. These have transforms, where these green ones are HUD, are 2D user interface items, and they're green. And they inherit from this control. So they don't have a transform, they just have this rectangle. So that's where this scale is. So we're going to scale this up, and I'm only going to go to 1.5, let's say. Yeah, perfect. So it kind of matches the same scale as these other guys. Very good. Right, so we've got that. Now let's go to, let's see, where did we put that code? Oh, yeah, HUD canvas layer has a script. Right, so all this is for the hearts. Here's the inventory. So here, again, another place we have to put a lot of manual code for every single item. Again, not a huge deal, I guess, because we're only going to have a handful of items in this entire game. And, you know, we'll have the jetpack, and we'll probably have another key, maybe one other item like a sword, but that's going to be it. So, I think we're okay. Alright, so key blue. So this hides the item by default, and then we re-show it if it shows up in their inventory. So here we go, key blue, and then here we're going to use that key blue. There we go. Alright, so that should be it. Not that bad. We got there. And now I should have, this key should be able to be picked up and put into the player's inventory. Now, we need to make the bat drop it when he's defeated. So we'll select the bat, and we'll jump to that scene for the bat, and let's look at his script. So he has, we'll look at his functions we've already got. He's got a hurt, got a knockback, and we've got a pass out. So this is when the bat passes out, this code gets passed, or this code gets run. So we can change this to bat, bat passes out, and then, excuse me, right here, we're going to do the, I've got a water because it's early and my throat's dry. We're going to do, we're going to spawn an item. So I'm going to go to my nifty Godot cheat sheet. We're going to scroll down here, and yeah, here's where we create a scene. I highly suggest that, especially when you're learning a new tool or language, and it's got, you know, all this text, that you have to remember that you use a cheat sheet like that, because there's just so many things, and some things, you know, you may not do on a very regular basis, and it's just nice to have a resource for that. So I highly suggest you do that. Yeah. So we need to load a scene, and then we're going to instance that scene, set the position, and here it's just setting the position to the current position, which is perfectly fine in this situation because I want to spawn the key at the position of the bat. Then we're going to get the parent of the bat, and we're going to add this key to that node. So if we go back to level and we look here and we find our bat is here under this path follow, which is probably not ideal. We could go all the way up to this one. Yeah, That's probably the smartest thing. We could add a target for this, because we don't want this thing to keep moving on the path. Which I don't think it would, but I don't like that too much. Let's just go ahead and add it to the parent. If we run into any problems, we'll change it. But I actually don't think we will, because I think this enemy logic is what moves along the path. Yeah, see here it's moving along the path. I don't think the path itself moves. So let's just try that. We'll go with it, and if we have a problem, we'll fix it. So this is where we get the scene. We could just load it here. So I could delete this, and I could go down to my objects, and we're going to spawn the key. So I can just drag this scene right there, and it'll give me the path to that key scene. So this will work. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and prove it. Yep. So I'm going to run down here, and you get to see me fail trying to attack my own bat boss. Let him fly up there. Get him on round 2. Come on. Oh, missed him. Apparently he takes 5 hits to get him. Got him. Alright, so there's my key, and see how it dropped down and landed on the tiles? That's excellent. Now if I walk up to it, should pick it up. There it is, and it popped into my inventory. Perfect! Alright, but we still won't open the door. I don't know what that little blue flash is I'm getting right there. So yeah, I think that worked really well. Now, a couple different things I wanted to show you. First, let's go ahead and solve the location of where I'm adding it. So here, I'm just adding it to the parent. What we could do instead is we could say get root, get tree dot get node level 1. I think this will work. Let's try this real quick. Should have made him a little quicker to defeat just for the testing purposes. So you didn't have to watch me battle him over and over. Whoa! Okay, yeah, that's not correct. Let's see if it's in my cheat sheet. I don't know that it is. Changing scene, set scale. We could get it by a group, so we could make the that's probably the safest and easiest way to do it. And the reason that would be more ideal is because if I called this by level 1 and I tried to jump up here, I think there's a way to go to the top of the tree and just get the first node there, like this parent scene node, but if I tried to do it by name and we created, say, a level 2, then this would break and I would have to change this bat code. It would not work in level 2. So this is kind of not ideal anyways. So let's do it by a group. So I'm going to go up here and matter of fact, let's even add it here. Let's add a node 2D and we will lock it before I move it on accident. And its transform should be 0, 0. Very good. It's locked. And I'm going to rename this, and we're going to call this pickups. Sounds good. And I'm going to create a group on here, and I'm going to call this pickup target. Yeah, that should be fine. Don't love the name. You can pick something yourself, but the purpose of that is here I can say, oh, what can I say? Well, look, so get nodes in group. Yep, returns all nodes in a given group. So if I go back here, I can say get nodes in group, and let's say, what was it, pick up target, and I'm going to get the first one. Now this is a little bit dangerous, accessing an index of something unless you know something's going to be there. In this case, I know there's going to be something there, and this would blow up if we didn't put this pickup node here. But this should get all the nodes, which will be an array, and this will take the first one out of that array, which there should only be one, and add that to it. So let's try this again and see if we blow up this time. Not going to be hugely surprised if we do, but you know. Oh, he got me. Let's try that again. I should just lower his hit points or something. Oh, gotta get off him. Boy, he's wearing me out. Alright, I'm going in for the kill. Let's do this. Oh! Yeah, I'm gonna lower his health. He's getting me too good. Let's do him at 2 for now. Can always bump him back up. Matter of fact, it'd probably be fun to have it even maybe a little higher for the... Alright, that didn't work. I saw it was on the tree, so let's get tree. I get nodes in group. Try that again. Alright, boom, boom. Alright, so it worked. It didn't blow up, but I can't see my key. So, making sure that was there. Alright, gonna punt on this one because I don't want to delay the video any longer. Let's just get the parent. This should work. I'm not sure what I did wrong there. We could debug it, but let's just move on. That's the idea, though, is you would get a path to a node like this one and add the child there. Anyways, I do want to fix this one though, because we're getting this object here hard-coded to the bat. That's a little bit messy. So what we're going to do is up here, we're going to do an export. So we're going to do export, and this is node path, I think. And we're going to call it var, and then this will be the, let's see, what is this? The drop item drop path. Alright, so we'll save that, and then down here we're going to say load. Oh no, I don't want a node path. I want a packed scene. And yeah, and so we'll call this I'll leave it on path. And so here I want to load that, which was item drop path. Okay, so let's try this. Oh wait, I have to assign it. I almost forgot. So if I go back to my level 1, click the bat, and look in the inspector, I should have this new property here, item drop path. And here I can pick a load, a pack scene. So I can go into objects and key blue. Alright, so the key blue should drop because that's going to be what spawns. We blew up on something. Cannot convert object argument 1 from object to string. Oh, I know. So I think what it's doing is it's already loading this. So let's change this to scene, and then up here we'll change this to scene. So I think what it's doing is it's already like that. So it's already loading that scene, and I just need to instance it. Let's go ahead and double check that this is still assigned properly to the bat. Under here, yeah, see it cleared when I changed the name of it. Key blue. Alright, let's try that again. You can tell I tested this before before I made the video. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Our key's rolling over because we made it at one of those things. That looks perfect. I love it. Alright, there we go. Good. Pick up, and now we just need to open the door. Alright, another thing I noticed is, well, our key kind of falls slow. I don't know if I want to fool with that. You can mess with the weight and the mass and the friction and the bounce. Yeah, I don't want to fool with this too much. I haven't played with it a lot. I don't want to mislead you, and I think it's okay-ish where it's at. So let's work on the door. We click the door. Let's go into the door scene. Remember, we already put that event there, so all we got to do is check that they have the key. So, to check to see if a player has a key, or has an item, let's see, where have we done this before? Maybe the merchant? So, yep, right here. So here we're checking to see if the player has a coin when he talks to the merchant. Pretty much the same concept here. What we're going to do is, at the gate, we could do this as another if statement within this one, or we could take this and do an and statement. Either one is fine. This one's nice because your indenting doesn't go as deep, so it stays a little bit cleaner. But obviously, if this gets too long, that can be messy as well. I think you can put it on a new line like that. Maybe. No. There might be a underscore. Maybe you can fix that. Some languages do that. I guess GD script doesn't. There's probably a way to continue that onto another level, or onto another line. I probably should know that. That doesn't look like it does it either. Anyways, carrying on. So if the body that entered is the player, and we don't have a reference to player there, but we do have body. So if body inventory find coin, we don't want coin, we want key blue is greater than 0, then we want to do this. And here, this would blow up because say a snail came walking along and hit this door and came in here, and we tried to check body.inventory, and snails don't have an inventory. This would blow up. But because we're first checking to make sure that they are the player, this should be okay, because this will jump out of this if statement before it even gets here. Now this is a little bit of a language dependent thing. Some languages will check both, but I'm pretty sure that Godot handles this just fine. We'll jump out here early. And that's an optimization, because this could be a really complicated, this actually is a pretty expensive operation here. I'm digging into this object and then I'm looping through an array to find a specific value. This is a little bit expensive, so it's a nice optimization that it jumps out early. Alright, so right here we need to do one thing. That's Q free. So that should delete the door. We could do an effect and sound and all that kind of stuff, but for right now, this should open the door. So let's go ahead and get this guy again. Got him. Grab my key. Got it. And I open the door. Now, real quick, let's double check to make sure that without the key, I can't get through there. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and even get him. And I still can't get through that door. But then if I run down here, pick up my key, come back, I go right through the door. Alright, so that's it for this video. We still have the key, so we could have more doors that I could unlock with that blue key. You could also make a design decision that when you open the door, that you remove that key from the player's inventory. So that's another option. That way you could do a bunch with one single color key. My problem here is if I did that with this one, and let's say the player, I use the same door mechanism which I plan to use up here for getting into the castle to win the game, let's say I use the same key, a player could decide to just kill that bat, grab the key, and then work his way back up here and come and solve the game. Maybe you want that, but in our case, I'm going to use 2 different color keys and allow him to keep it. And you could even hide some, over here or somewhere else. You could hide a smaller reward for the player, going back to an old area. So yeah, let's stop there, and next video we're going to jump right into the jetpack. I'm going to probably break it up into at least 2 or 3 videos because there's a lot to cover there, but hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.